Welcome back to Finance Friday. It's another special edition of Money Girl where I answer your burning money questions. Today we have a great topic from Jenny. She says, I'm a 52-year-old single mom and my finances are in good shape. I want to pay off my home so I'll be completely debt-free when I retire. What do you think about paying off a mortgage early? And what's the best way to do it? Thanks so much for your question, Jenny. For most homeowners, having a mortgage payment is their largest debt, so getting rid of it would feel terrific. While being mortgage-free is an excellent goal, it may not always be the best use of your money. If you're a homeowner or want to be one someday, this podcast will review the pros and cons of paying extra on your home loan. I'll review when it's wise to pay off a mortgage early and 8 strategies for eliminating your mortgage faster when it's the right move for you. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining me on episode 857. I'm Laura Adams, an award-winning author, finance spokesperson, money speaker, founder of the Money Stack newsletter, and host of the Money Girl podcast with over 43 million downloads. My mission is to help you get the knowledge and motivation to prioritize your finances, build lots of wealth, and have more security and less stress. Every episode here is like a mini money training. It's designed to help you take your financial life to the next level. So if you're enjoying the value from the free content we love creating, consider submitting a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening right now. I'll thank you in advance for that. If you have a question you'd like me to cover, please leave it on our voicemail at 302-364-0308. You can also send me an email and sign up for the free Money Stack newsletter when you visit lauradadams.com. All right, so let's first talk about the downsides of paying off a mortgage early. I mentioned that there are better moves for some homeowners, and that's because in the big picture of your finances, a mortgage should be very low on your debt priority list, even though a mortgage is typically your largest debt. It's important to remember that a mortgage is a relatively inexpensive debt that also comes with tax benefits, which can make it cost even less on an after-tax basis. So if you think about the going rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, right now it's about 6.5%. But if you claim the mortgage interest tax deduction by itemizing on your tax return instead of claiming the standard deduction, that could actually reduce your actual mortgage rate by about a percentage. However, recent tax law changes have made the mortgage interest deduction less advantageous for many homeowners who come out ahead claiming the standard deduction instead. Whether you can deduct a portion of your mortgage interest or not, once you send extra money to a home lender, it's tied up in your property. Additionally, sending extra money to pay a mortgage early means you lose the opportunity to invest that money for higher returns. For instance, buying an index fund in a Roth IRA that pays an average 8% annual return is better than paying extra on a mortgage that costs you 6% or much less. While mortgage rates have increased in the past couple of years, if you bought a home before the pandemic, you could have a rate under 3%. That is a fantastic opportunity to use your money to generate higher returns by investing instead. While getting rid of any debt is ultimately good for your finances, paying it off in the right order is essential. So always consider your mortgage in the context of your entire financial situation. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of paying off a mortgage early. Certainly the primary advantage of paying off a mortgage or any debt ahead of schedule is paying less interest. For example, if you owe $300,000 on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 5%, your monthly payment for principal and interest would be about $1,600. If you keep the home for 30 years, your total payments would be more than $578,000. Your interest portion of the payments would be about $278,000. That's a hefty price. So paying off a mortgage ahead of schedule means you reduce the total interest you pay on the life of a loan and also shorten your repayment term. So should you pay off your mortgage early? I think while the upsides of sending extra money to your mortgage can certainly be tempting, First, evaluate your financial situation. We're all different. Jenny said her finances are in good shape, but she didn't give us any details. So, Jenny, I'd like to know how much you have in emergency savings and whether you're regularly investing for retirement and you've got a sufficient balance based on your retirement goals. If you don't have a healthy emergency fund, you're not investing at least 10% of your gross income for retirement, or you have any high interest debt, sending extra money to a mortgage is not wise. You'd be much better off using your extra money to build a cash cushion, eliminate any expensive debt, and invest for retirement before paying off your home ahead of schedule. But if Jenny does have emergency funds equal to at least 3 months' worth of living expenses, she's investing, let's say, 10 to 15% of her income for retirement and has no other debt, well, in that case, reducing her mortgage may be an excellent financial move. So if you're someone who believes that your financial situation is good enough to pay down your mortgage early, I'm going to go through 8 strategies you might want to consider based on how aggressive you want to be paying down your mortgage. So the first strategy is to pay an extra $1. So if you don't have much extra money to send to your home lender, but you expect your income to increase over time, you could increase your monthly payment by literally $1. For instance, if you have a $150,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 6%, your first monthly payment would be $900. Well, you could pay $901 for the second month, $902 for the third month, and so on. That schedule would cut about 8 years off your repayment term and save thousands of dollars in interest. All right, the second strategy is to make bi-weekly payments. Sending biweekly payments means you send half your payment every other week instead of making one payment a month. So it allows you to make an extra monthly payment each year because there are 13 weeks in each quarter, not 12, and 52 weeks in a year, not 48. So that every other week schedule means that you're going to actually end up paying another full payment. Suppose you have a 30-year mortgage for $160,000 at 6.5% interest. The payment is $1,000 per month or $12,000 a year. If you keep that payment schedule, you'll pay about $202,000 in interest over the life of the loan. But if you make bi-weekly payments instead, you'd pay half the monthly payment or $500 every other week. You'd end up paying $13,000 in total payments instead of $12,000. So sticking to a bi-weekly schedule would cut your interest from about $202,000 down to $184,000, saving $18,000 in interest over the entire loan. You'd also pay off the loan in about 27 years instead of 30. And I'll put a link in the show notes to a bi-weekly mortgage calculator so you can put in information about your situation to see how much it would save you. The problem is that some lenders don't apply early payments to your principal balance, and they may just hold it for you in an escrow account until they receive your full payment. Now, if that's the case, making biweekly payments won't help you, if that extra money is just sitting in an escrow account. So check with your lender about the best way to make biweekly payments. If they try to make it complicated or charge a fee or say, they can't apply it to your principal, I recommend using another payoff strategy that we're going to cover here. All right, the third strategy is to send an extra full payment each year. If you can't get a mortgage lender to apply bi-weekly payments to your principal as you send them, just make one extra payment a year that gets fully applied to your balance. So let's say your monthly mortgage payment is $1,200. You could make a goal to save that much by the end of the year by putting $100 a month in a dedicated savings account. So at the end of the year, you've got $1,200 saved to make an extra payment to your lender. Again, you have to make it clear that you want that entire amount applied to your principal loan balance. You can enter something like, apply to principal in the memo section of your payment, or make the payment through your online mortgage account, where it may be easier to indicate that you want the extra amount fully applied to your principal balance. The fourth strategy is to include an extra flat amount monthly. If you're determined to pay down your mortgage early, you might budget an additional flat amount to pay each month. So let's say you have a $100,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 4.5%. If you add an extra $100 to your monthly payment, you would pay it off almost 9 years earlier and save over $26,000 in interest. Or you could also round up your monthly payments. For instance, if your payment is $970, you could just consistently pay $1,000 instead, just round it up to $1,000. You can enter your mortgage information in a mortgage payoff calculator to determine how much you'd save in different scenarios. And I'll put links to some really great mortgage calculators in the notes for the show. The fifth strategy is to send your windfalls. So while you can pay off your mortgage slowly and steadily by regularly paying the same amount each month, you don't have to be consistent. There's nothing wrong with sending one big payment when you can. For instance, if you get a bonus at work, a tax refund, or an inheritance, you can send it to your mortgage and then return to making regular payments. Again, you got to be clear with your lender what you're trying to do, that you want that extra to pay down your principal balance, not to get credited toward future interest payments. The sixth strategy is to set a target payoff date. So let's say you have a specific date in mind that you want to be mortgage-free, such as on the day you retire. You can figure out how much extra it will take. Now, the math gets a little complicated here, so I definitely recommend using one of the mortgage payoff calculators that I'm linking to in the show notes, so you can enter different amounts of extra payments until the final payoff date is close to your target. The seventh strategy is to eliminate private mortgage insurance, or PMI. Private mortgage insurance is charged by lenders when your down payment on a conventional home loan is less than 20%. However, once you pay down your mortgage to 80% of the original value, you can request a PMI cancellation. And that's going to save you money. You can use that savings to pay off your mortgage faster. For instance, if you have a 30-year fixed-rate loan for $180,000, the PMI could be costing you close to $100 a month. So getting rid of that premium frees up $100 to send to your mortgage principal instead. And the last strategy, number 8, is to refinance your mortgage. Refinancing a mortgage is when you get a new mortgage that pays off and replaces your existing one. The new loan can be with your same institution or a different lender. For example, if you have a fixed-rate mortgage at 7.5%, you could refinance with a 30-year mortgage at 6%. That would reduce your monthly payments and the amount of interest you pay over the life of the loan. The best situation for a refinance is when you have at least 20% home equity and you pay at least 0.75% or 0.75% more than the going mortgage rate, which right now is about 6.5% as of late August 2024. Suppose you have a $300,000 fixed-rate mortgage at 7.8%, and you can refinance it to a 6.5% loan. That rate reduction could cut your monthly payment by about $260, saving nearly $95,000 in interest over 30 years. Now, you could also refinance a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage. That will increase your monthly payments, but you can save even more interest over the life of the loan. But you have to do your homework and understand what a refinance will cost. The total fees could range from 2%, maybe even up to 6% of the loan amount, depending on where you live and your lender. You must be sure that you'll own your home long enough to recoup those expenses, passing a break-even point. If you don't own your home long enough to save money on a refinance, accounting for its costs, it's not a good idea. And it will never be wise for many homeowners who enjoy mortgage rates significantly lower than today's going rate. To sum up, paying off your mortgage early is only wise if you have rock-solid finances with plenty of emergency savings, you have regular retirement contributions, and no debt other than your mortgage. Instead, use your extra cash to strengthen your financial foundation and earn higher returns than you'd get by sending that money to your home lender. Before we go, a quick reminder to subscribe to The Money Stack. That's my weekly newsletter, and you can do that when you visit lauradadams.com. The newsletter is filled with money tips, tools, news, challenges, and things I enjoy. You can subscribe for free or become a paid member with access to live educational events. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast, and I want to thank our fantastic team. Steve Rickyberg audio engineers the show. Brandon Gages is our director of podcasts. Holly Hutchins is our digital operations specialist. Morgan Christensen is our advertising operations specialist. And Davina Tomlin is our marketing and publicity associate.